In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing but the silence of an infinite darkness. But the breath of the Creator fluttered against the face of the void, whispering, "Let there be light." And light was. And it was good. The first day. And a lesser light ruled the nights. And there was evening and morning. Another day passed. And the ground put forth the growing things. All part of the greater whole, all in their place, and all was in balance. It was paradise, the jewel in the Creator's palm. So for the 10 generations since Adam's sin has walked within us. Brother against brother. Nation against nation. Man against creation. We broke the world. We did this. Man did this.
I am the punishment of God. And if you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Shalom to you. Welcome back to another episode of Crushing Christian Views. Today we're going to talk about judgment, because a lot of Christians say only God can judge me. That's not true. And I know a lot of you go with the Tupac philosophy, only God can judge me. This is not true. We're going to show you that the saints are going to judge the world. And we're going to start in John chapter 7. I think we're going to start at verse 24. Brother G is going to read that for us.
All right, John chapter 7, verse 24 says, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment."
So we're supposed to judge righteous judgment. And for a side note, we're going to show you what it means to be righteous. We're going to go to Romans 8 and chapter 4. I'm sorry, Romans chapter 8, verse 4.
Okay. Romans chapter 8, verse 4. That the righteousness of the law
The righteousness of the law. Go ahead, I'm sorry, G.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
So the Spirit itself is the law. So righteous judgments come through the law. And that's what we've been talking about on this show, Crushing Christian Views, is how important God's law is. Read that again, Brother G.
Okay, yeah, let me read it again. Go back to it. Yep. Okay. That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
After the law. So let's go to Romans 10. Go to Romans 10 and see what that says.
You want me to start?
Verse 5.
Okay. Romans 10, verse 5. For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law.
Which is of the law.
That the man which doeth those things shall live by them.
Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6. So we're going to show you all what it means to judge people. You have to be judging them based on God's law, not based on their appearance, not based on whether they're light skin or dark skin, any of that stuff. It's all based on God's law. So we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
So do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? Go ahead.
And if the world shall be judged by you, and ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Is that it on that?
Yep.
Okay, go to Luke 22, verse 30. Luke 22, verse 30. And Now, this is going to be a short lesson today. We're just showing you that judgment has to come through the law, not through your own opinion, not through what you think, but through God's law. So let's go with Luke 22, verse 30.
Okay, Luke 22:30. That ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Mm-hmm. Is that it on that?
Yep.
Read that once more.
That ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom.
That ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom. In my kingdom. That's possessive. That's Jesus' kingdom. Go ahead.
And sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So we're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. That would be all of our people, whether they were bad or good. Let's go to Revelation, chapter 20. Revelation chapter 20. Let's see what that says. Revelation chapter 20. What verse is that?
20, verse 4.
Okay, chapter 20, verse 4.
Okay. Or unless you want me to start with 4?
Yep, start with 4.
Okay. Revelation 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them.
So judgment is given unto the men sitting on the thrones, which are Israelites that were keeping the laws of God. Go ahead.
And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast.
Which had not worshipped the so-called white man.
Neither his image.
Neither that picture of the so-called white Jesus. Go ahead.
Neither had received his mark upon their foreheads.
Those who resisted having sin on the brain. That's what that means. Go ahead.
Or in their hands.
Those who didn't agree with sin, didn't agree with the booty shorts, didn't agree with the breasts hanging out. Those are the men who are sitting on the thrones. Go ahead.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
So when Christ returned, we're going to take the nations, and we brought this out in former videos, and we're going to take them into the kingdom. They're going to build the kingdom up for us. We're going to whip their backs like they whipped our backs, and we're going to make them build the kingdom up, and we're going to make them keep the laws of God. Go ahead. Was that on that? Was that it?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. We're going to go to Daniel chapter 7. I'm going to keep giving it to you until you black Christians understand what's really going on, because you don't have a damn clue. Daniel chapter 7, verse 22.
Okay, Daniel 7:22. Until the Ancient of Days came.
So God, the Most High God, is the Ancient of Days. He existed before days existed. Go ahead.
And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High.
There it is again. Judgment will be given to the saints of the Most High. So when you say only God can judge me, you're a liar, because the saints are going to judge you. We're going to show you who the saints are in a few minutes. Go ahead, Brother G.
And the time came that the saints possessed them. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
The saints are going to possess the kingdom right alongside with Jesus the King. Jesus the King and the saints are going to possess the kingdom. And within that kingdom, we're going to put all the nations to work. You're going to scrub our toilets with your toothbrush. We're going to make you do whatever we want you to do. Read that again, Brother G.
Okay. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High.
Judgment is given to the saints of the Most High. We're going to judge the world. Go ahead.
And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
So when the 1,000-year reign of Christ began, we, the saints, will possess the kingdom. Go ahead. The next one is Obadiah, chapter 1. Well, it's only one chapter in Obadiah, but Obadiah 1. And we're going to start at verse 21.
Okay, Obadiah 1, verse 21. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion.
Saviors with an S shall come up on Mount Zion. Go ahead.
to judge the mount of Esau.
So we're going to be judging the so-called white man for all the horrible things he's done to us and the horrible things he continued to do to us. Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall be the Lord's.
And the kingdom shall be the Lord's, with us as Israelites, the saints, under that. Let's go to a side note, which would be Acts chapter 7. We're going to go to Acts chapter 7. This is a short lesson today, folks. It's all about judgment. We're reading straight from the scriptures. You cannot misinterpret it, you damn Christians. You can't misinterpret this. You really don't love the Bible. Oh, go ahead, Brother C.
No, I was going to say, listening to you, and I was just thinking, I'm like, everyone that's born like the same complexion as Esau all possess that wickedness.
Yes.
He did. Like, that's ironic.
Yes. It's funny because you just brought up something we talked about in another video where we were talking about the dragons of Arabia. And I was talking about how America gives weapons to Saudi Arabia to bomb the darker skinned Arabs in Yemen. America's been doing that for decades now, keeping Yemen at bay by allowing the dragons of Arabia, which has the same skin color as them, except they're Arabs, to bomb Yemen and keep them in place.
Wow, America is giving billions to Ukraine.
And America right now, I just saw something in the news this morning. America has given Ukraine, I think it's $17 billion since January of 2021.
Like 17.4 or something.
17.4 to fight against Russia. Now, why are they fighting against Russia? They claim Russia is some kind of terrorist state or whatever they're saying about Russia. But what's really going on is America has been moving NATO closer and closer to the border of Russia. And we talked about that in a previous video. Let's go to Acts chapter 7, verse 37.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Acts 7, verse 37.
Mm-hmm.
This is that Moses, which said unto the children of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
a prophet shall the Lord your God
Mm-hmm.
raise up unto you of your brethren,
Of your brethren.
like unto me,
Mm-hmm.
him shall ye hear.
Okay, not sure why I put that in there, but read that again.
Okay. This is that Moses, which said unto the children of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, him shall ye hear.
Well, that prophet would be Christ himself. So, as you can see in this short video, we got right to the point about who's gonna judge who. You claim only God can judge you. The Bible clearly says the saints will judge you. So be afraid, be very afraid. We're gonna judge you for your booty shorts, for your pimpzation, for you pimping. I was getting ready to cuss, I don't want to cuss. For you pimping, for you doing all the horrible things you do to each other, kill each other, lie on each other, bear false witness. We're gonna judge you. The saints are gonna judge you for that. Let's see, is that it on that? Anybody got any questions?
Yes, I do.
Uh-huh.
So, going back to sin. So, if I have a wife,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say in our household, she wants to, not outside, but just in our household, she wants to walk around in booty shorts. Would that be a sin?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's fine because let's go to that.
I would like for her to be a whore for me.
Right. I'm about to prove what you're saying is okay. Everything is good with that. Watch this. Let me pull this up right quick.
These women got to release their inner whore.
Go to Brother G. Go to Hebrews chapter 13. What we're gonna do is prove that it's okay, just using the words that Brother C used, for your wife to be a whore for you. A whore, okay? Not an actual whore like a whore, but
right, just
like a lady.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, yeah, no.
Hebrews chapter 13, read verse 4.
13, verse 4.
Mm-hmm. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4.
All right. Hebrews 13, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is honorable in all,
Mm-hmm.
and the bed undefiled,
Mm-hmm.
but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Okay, so marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. So, brother, see, if you're married, whatever you and your wife decide to do inside the house, in the bedroom, it's all good because you're married. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. So this goes along with what the question you were asking. So it's all good. She want to wear booty shorts in the house with her husband. It's all good. It's fine. It's when she steps outside the house, she has to be an Israelite woman. She has to be a lady. She has to be a woman of God.
Right.
Inside the house, you can do what you want.
Lady in
I
the street.
agree 2,000,000% with that.
Yeah,
Lady in the street.
2,000,000%.
That was a great question.
Woman that's walking around like that outside.
yeah,
Like,
I have a question.
yeah, sure.
All right, so getting back on sin.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's going to be for all the Christians.
Mhm.
Is it a sin to go to church on Sunday?
Yes, because the Sabbath is the seventh day of the week, which is Saturday. And the Sabbath is supposed to be kept holy, not the first day of the week. In fact, a lot of Christians say they keep Sunday as the day of God because Jesus was raised up on Sunday. That's a lie. Let's go to, I believe it's Matthew 1. Let's go to Matthew 1. I want to take a look at that real quick. Matthew chapter 1. Bear with me for a minute.
I was going to church tomorrow.
You were going to church tomorrow? So, not Matthew 1. I'm sorry, it's not Matthew 1. Let me, give me 1 second.
That's great. I thought we were on Sunday.
Yeah. Now there are some pastors in America that they've changed their Sunday worship to Saturday, which is a good thing. They're making efforts. But most pastors, of course, church is conducted on Sunday. Okay, so something I want to pull up in lieu of what Brother Derek had asked. It's taking me a minute because I can't remember the scripture. Let me see. Oh, okay. Go to Matthew 28. Matthew 28, and we're going to read verse 1.
28:1.
Yep, 28:1.
All right. Matthew 28, verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath,
In the end of the Sabbath, at the end of the seventh day of the week, go ahead,
as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week,
which is Sunday,
came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the
sepulchre.
sepulchre.
Okay, verse 2.
And behold, there was a great earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
For the angel of the Lord descended from heaven
Mm-hmm.
and came and rolled back the stone from the door
Mm-hmm.
and sat upon it.
Okay, so notice it says at the end of the Sabbath. So the Sabbath starts Friday evening. It ends Saturday evening. Here it says at the end of the Sabbath as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week. So the Sabbath ended Saturday night in the evening, which started the first day of the week. Hours went by. When the sun started to come up, now comes Mary Magdalene. You see that? So Jesus raised up on the Sabbath. And by the time the hours and hours went by and the first day of the week started, then Mary Magdalene shows up looking for Jesus. So Jesus actually raised up on the Sabbath. Now let's go to another. Watch this. We're going to show you, because a Christian pastor tried to say Jesus is not Lord of the Sabbath. You dummy, watch this.
So it's like, it's Saturday, it's like Sabbath, it's Saturday, but then hours went by into Sunday.
Right. So Sunday, the first day of the week, started in the evening of Saturday.
That's crazy.
All those hours went by until the morning came. That's the first day of the week. So Jesus was already gone. And that's what the angel explains. If we were to continue reading, the angel explains this Jesus that you look for, he's already gone. The angel explains that. Now, there was something I was getting ready to.
So y'all easily picked up on it.
Yeah. See, there was something I was getting ready. Oh, I know what it was. Jesus is Lord of
The Sabbath.
Yep, of the Sabbath. Uh-oh. My give me 1 minute. I don't know what happened here. Jesus, Lord of the Sabbath, right? Bear with us. I just want to find the scripture.
And if you liking anything that you're hearing right now, if you somehow got an opinion, if you disagree on some things, or if you want to share your opinion, be sure to comment on the video.
Please comment so that way we can find the things in the scripture that you're looking for. Let's go to Matthew chapter 2. Verse 27. Matthew chapter 2, verse 27. I'm sorry, did I say Matthew? Mark. I'm sorry, Mark. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. Now remember, so Jesus in Matthew 28, first verse, if you were to read down, you'll see where Jesus left before Mary Magdalene showed up on the first day of the week, hours later, after the Sabbath was over. Now let's read Mark chapter 2. Let's start at verse 27.
Okay, Mark chapter 2, 27. And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
Verse 28.
Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath because he raised up on the Sabbath, on God's day, not on Sunday, the first day of the week. You're a liar, you black Christians. You need to learn the truth. Anybody else ask any questions? Go ahead, Brother Rail.
Now, as far as going back to sin. Can I going back to sin.
Speak a little louder.
So going back to sin, is it a sin if a guy that's known to be in church every Sunday and the day before this occurs, he's out doing Lord knows what, doing stuff he shouldn't be doing? What part of the sin is that?
What part of sin?
Yeah, sin, yes.
Okay, so you're saying he goes to church on Sunday, but the day before he's out doing whatever. So if he's out doing whatever on the Sabbath, which is the day before Sunday, he's probably spending money. So you're not supposed to buy, sell, buying and selling are two of the things you're not supposed to do on the Sabbath. So if he's out doing whatever, he's probably spending money. So to better answer your question, on Fridays before the Sabbath starts in the evening, I'll put gas in my car or on the bike, so that I don't have to spend the money on the Sabbath. Or I'll go to the store and buy food on a Friday that you don't have to cook on the Sabbath, on Saturday. So basically, yeah, it's a sin. And we have to get used and put in practice to not buy or sell on the Sabbath. For example, if Brother C wanted to buy my car and he was offering me top dollar for it, and he said, I got the money right now, and this is Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got to turn him down until the end of the day or the end of the Sabbath, which is when the evening comes. When the evening comes, starts the first day of the week. Now, let me say this too. The so-called white man says the next day starts at 12 midnight, right? 12:01 a.m., 12 midnight. How can the next day start in the middle of the night? God says the next day starts as soon as it gets dark, not in the middle of the darkness. The white man also says, and I might be getting a little bit off, I gotta talk about this though. He also says the new year starts in January. How can the new year start in the middle of the winter? The new year starts in the spring when things start to grow again, the grass, the flowers, the leaves sprout. That's when the new year starts. In fact, Jesus was born in the spring, not in the winter, December 25th, like these Christian lies tell us. He was born in the spring, and the Bible tells us that. So, did that help answer your question? I was Brother Rel with that question. Go ahead.
Okay, this is my last question.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're all very clear that it is a sin to go to church on Sunday.
Yes.
Is it also a sin to pay tithes?
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Let's go to Deuteronomy 20. That's one of my favorite subjects. Great question. Deuteronomy chapter.
Christians really about to be mad at you now.
Yeah, they're about to be upset. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 14. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 14, and we're going to show you Christians what it means to pay tithes. In fact, paying tithes went away with the law of sacrifice. It's so amazing to me how Christians say God's laws are gone away, but you pay tithes, which is in God's laws in the Old Testament. Actually, God's laws, the ceremonial laws, the dietary laws, all those laws are still in place today. The only law that went away is the law of sacrifice. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 14. This is on paying tithes. Start at verse 22. Deuteronomy chapter 14, starting at verse 22.
14:22, Deuteronomy 14:22 says, Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed. Go ahead.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
So you take seed and plant it in the field to grow food. Next verse.
Okay.
Verse 23.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Okay, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God. It says thou shalt eat. We're talking about the seed that was planted in a field to grow food from the previous verse. Go ahead.
The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
So the tithe is corn, wine, oil, firstlings of thy herds, which would be animals, and thy flocks. Verse 24.
And if the way be too long for thee.
Okay, so, and if the way be too long for thee, it's talking about what Brother G just read in verse 23, where it says, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The place would be Jerusalem. So in verse 24, where it says, and if the way be too long for thee, it's talking about if Jerusalem is too far for thee. Go ahead.
So that thou art not so that thou art not able to carry it.
To carry it, meaning all the corn, the flocks, the wine, the oil, everything. Go ahead.
Or if the place be too far from thee,
which is Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there.
Jerusalem.
When the Lord thy God hath blessed thee.
Blessed thee with what? With tithing of the corn, the oil, the wine, the flocks, the herds. This ain't got nothing to do with money. Go ahead, verse 25.
Then shalt thou turn it into money.
Stop right there. That's when the pastor's going to say, see, it's about money. Watch this. Keep reading, dumbass pastors. Go ahead, Brother G.
And bind up the money in thine hand hand.
Bind up the money in thine hand.
And shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
Jerusalem, go ahead.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
Okay. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatever thy soul lusteth after. So you got to exchange that money in for, go ahead.
For oxen, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink.
And for strong drink, for all you Christians say, I don't drink alcohol. God said it's okay to have strong drink. Go ahead.
Or for whatsoever thy soul desires.
So God says for whatever your soul desires, Israelite man, for whatever your soul desires. Go ahead.
And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God.
Eat there before the Lord thy God in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
And you shall rejoice, you and your household, you and your family. You travel to Jerusalem with all this food, corn, wine, oil, and you rejoice there eating in Jerusalem where God placed his name, and enjoy yourselves. This got nothing to do with paying a pastor money.
So it's basically like you exchanging your time for the goods that's offered.
Yeah. Because you're living in some other land and you plan to travel to Jerusalem, you can't carry all that stuff because God has blessed you with all these animals and all this stuff. So you have to go exchange it for money. As soon as you get the money and you get to Jerusalem, you exchange that money back for that oil, the corn, the wine, everything, strong drink, everything.
So it's safe to say, well, it's not well. So with that being said, you don't have to pay 10% of your earnings in tithes at all.
At all. You do not have to give a pastor any damn money. You don't have to pay anything. Now they're going to use the excuse, well, the church has lights and the church has this and you have to pay for that. We're going to show y'all what the church is supposed to be doing.
Because always, when you look for that, it always puzzled me that God would ask for 10% when God gave you everything anyway. So, like, why would you have to give 10% back?
Right, exactly. Watch this. Now,
and what is money to God?
And what is money to God? It's like, God owns the universe. What is he going to do with my $30? He going to buy another planet? You better wake up. Okay, go to, let's see. Go to Luke 14. Go to Luke chapter 14.
Woo, these black Christians gonna be mad tonight.
Yeah, they're gonna be mad because we're bringing out the truth. I didn't write any of this stuff, Christians. I'm reading it from the Bible. Brother G is reading it from the Bible. We're filming this from the Bible. Go ahead, Brother Derek.
No, I'm saying the same Bible they own.
The same Bible you guys carry, we're carrying.
So before he read that, what about when people say that they can't find some of the scriptures that you're reading in the Bible, and that we shouldn't trust the scriptures that's coming from Google?
Oh, that's a great question. So the Catholic Church, which is where we got Christianity from, they never stopped using the 1611 King James Bible. The 1611 King James Bible, after they brought our people here in slavery, by the 1800s, they took the Apocrypha out. Now watch this, Christians. You've all learned about Alexander the Great in school, elementary or middle school, high school, college. I don't know when they started teaching about Alexander the Great.
Middle school.
Middle school? So Alexander the Great, the story on him comes from the Apocrypha. That's where the white man got the story of Alexander the Great. It's written in the Apocrypha, which is in the 1611 King James Bible. Boom. Okay, go to Luke 14. Oh man, I don't even know. Okay, so we're gonna go to Luke 14, verse 23.
Okay, Luke 14, verse 23.
Yeah, this is tying into something we was just talking about. Go ahead.
All right, Luke 14, 23 says, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled.
Did you hear that, Christians? So our job is to go out. That's why you see these Israelite camps like IUIC and everybody out in the highways and the hedges and the byways, because you don't have to pay for lights out there. We have the sun, we got the street lights if it's dark. You don't have to pay for that. So this whole thing with having a building, fancy building with lights and all that, and you got to pay for it. No, all you got to do is go out in the highways and the byways and teach out in the street. That's where our people are. All right. Anybody got anything else?
That's actually what Jesus did.
That's like Brother C said. That's exactly what Jesus did. He went out into the highways and the byways. When he did go into a synagogue, it was a synagogue already established by the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They had already established that. He didn't have to pay a thing. He just go in there and teach.
He never asked for money.
And he never asked for money. Any gifts that Jesus received, people donated that to him on their own. He didn't pass around no collection plate. Just like all the black men in this room right now, nobody's paying us to bring this to you. Nobody. Any other questions? Okay, so we want to say shalom to you, brothers and sisters. Hope you learned more about the Bible today. We also want to say like, subscribe, and comment to Crushing Christian Views so that we can get the answers that you need from the Bible. And with that, I want to say shalom.
I am the punishment of God. And if you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you.